Greetings. Thank you for tuning in to this 2020 General Election Candidate Forum for Thurston County Commissioner, District 2. The forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County, along with Thurston Community Media, TCMedia. This forum is being held electronically. Candidates, moderators, and timers are all joining in on Zoom links with the help of TCMedia. A bit about the League. The League is a nonprofit organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in their government. The League neither supports nor opposes candidates or parties. We are nonpartisan. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the legislature and other governmental bodies. Despite its name, the League is open to all people aged 16 and up. I'm CHANTELLE Patron Marker from the League, and I'll be moderating this forum. A timer will show a sign when you have 30 seconds left, and then again when you need to stop. If you are on the phone, the moderator will let you know these times. The candidates for this position are Gary Edwards and Michael R. Steadman. For this forum, candidates will each have an opportunity to answer a series of questions in alternating order. Some of the questions have been contributed by the Asian Pacific Islanders Coalition, South Puget Sound Chapter. At the conclusion, each candidate will have the opportunity to ask his opponent a question and make 1-minute closing statements. For the following questions, the first respondent will have 2 minutes and the subsequent candidate 1 minute to respond. I will alternate the questions between candidates so that each candidate has the chance to start first. Please discuss, Gary Edwards, your priorities on addressing the budget shortfalls and other issues such as increased unemployment, lack of medical insurance, business closures that were created by the pandemic.
Well, I guess what I would talk about in regard to that is what I would do to help fix that problem. And I think that we need to get our economy going because it's been slowed down. How would we do that? We could do that through cutting back on regulation, and by creating more jobs, we could address all of the issues that you pointed out. So I think that is the main thing to get people back to work. And the best way we can do that is encourage employers to hire people, give them some incentives. That can be done in various different ways, but I do think that working is probably the best way to get people back with insurance, with good self-esteem, and get them back to living a normal life. So I'll just let it go at that.
Great, thank you. Michael Steadman, please.
All right, the budget as it impacts, as it's impacted by COVID. Well, I believe myself as a small business owner in the private sector my entire adult life. Nobody understands the effects COVID has had on small businesses. Again, just like Gary mentioned, I think what we're doing about it is the most crucial. In Lacey, we immediately started a grant program specifically designed for small businesses and to bridge that gap between any kind of federal funding that's going to come. It'd be months away. We showed it and we proved it to all the municipalities throughout the county, and the only ones that followed was Yelm. Now, they couldn't contribute as much as Lacey, but they did something. And that's, in a lot of ways, Lacey shows and leads by example for other municipalities, even the county government. And why everybody else didn't at least do something similar, I don't know. But we helped the cause in Lacey.
Thank you. Question number 2. I'll begin with you, Michael Steadman. How can the county address the homelessness crisis?
All right. Well, I like to use the example at like the Lacey Veterans Service Hub. So when you're dealing with veterans at the hub, there's 82 providers there, and homeless is just one of the issues. Finding housing, mental health help, drug addiction help, you name it, it's there. and there's no negative stigmatism because we have veterans attached to it. But myself and Gary are both veterans, okay? But as soon as we take the veteran part out of that, then in comes all the negative and preconceived notions and all the stuff that goes with it. I think we can treat our homeless North Thurston public school children throughout all the districts, our elderly, and everybody that fights these same challenges. And just look at the challenge itself and the person that you're trying to better their life and get them back on track. I think if we do that, and we all do it together, not one city's doing more or less than the other, but we're all doing the same heavy lift collaboratively in partnership, that it becomes a lot smaller problem and one that's more manageable and can be successful.
All right, Gary Edwards.
I think the first thing we need to do is quit encouraging individuals to live a lifestyle that doesn't fit our community. And by encouraging, I mean allowing them to do basically whatever they want, including drugs and alcohol. And then we end up with individuals that come here from all around the country. I believe we could easily deal with those individuals that are in a homeless situation now that are from here. The challenge is dealing with about 75% of those people that are not from here. That becomes a big challenge. So by holding people accountable for their actions, I feel we can get them into treatment programs, because if we don't have adequate treatment, both mental health and drug addiction, we're never going to break that cycle. So that's a start on how we would deal with this. I really do think that the accountability piece means that you can't just let them go to the bathroom wherever they want, some right downtown. We've seen it downtown. That is a bum deal. I'll just use that as an example. We have to hold them accountable if they decide to do that. And if that means put them in through some specialty court and mandate that they go there, because we do have specialty courts now for alcohol, drugs, veterans, that type of thing. So I just want to expand that and address it towards the homeless, but you have to give them some incentive to participate. And if that incentive is, okay, you're going to have to go to jail for a week, or you're going to have to participate in this program, because if they're taken away from their property, they lose their property, and then they don't want to be here because others steal their property. So we just need to hold them a bit accountable. And that's where I would be coming from. And I mainly do it through treatment and specialty courts. And you have to be a little bit tough love on this whole thing, because if you just let them run willy-nilly and do whatever they want, they will never decide to come around and be productive members in society. And that'll be it.
Great, thank you. Gary, the next question, number 3, I'm going to ask you to begin with, and followed by Michael. Asian American individuals and businesses have been the targets of hate incidents and racial vandalism. How will you help combat this wave of anti-Asian violence and discrimination?
Boy, you know, I'm going to start off by passing on, I guess, some family solutions to everything that my parents told me. And that was to treat everybody the way you would like to be treated in a like situation. Now, how do we get everybody to abide by that type of activity? I can only say that from my perspective, if we can create good jobs, I really think good jobs get us going in the right direction. It gives individuals self-esteem, help them if there's a need. I'm not saying there is a need, but we have to have the social services that will help get them through this. So the bottom line is we really need to just treat people the way we would like to be treated. I don't know if you can make a law about that, or if you could just work with folks. I think self-esteem is a big piece of it. Jobs are a big piece of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael?
At the core of our campaign, our team is inclusion, and that everybody, no matter who you are or what you are, should be treated fairly and equally with dignity and respect. And the Asian community is just one. LGBTQ plus, veterans, you name it, even small businesses or business in general everything should be on a fair and equal playing field. And we need to encourage community engagement. In Lacey, we have lots of round tables with faith groups and many different walks of life. Our police department has also a round table where people from all around the community come and share their concerns, and they feel like they're heard. And when you feel like you're heard, you feel like you're valued. And when you're valued, then you don't lose hope, and you don't. And when you lose hope, you get despair, and people start acting out, I guess. So the thing is, no matter who you are or what you do, if you're treated with dignity and respect, that's what you will get in return. And it starts with us public officials. We're the first example many people see on how to how you treat one another. And I'm a people person, and when I see somebody being discriminated against or not valued in any way, that bothers me. And I want to be right there and be the fixer, and show people that they're important. So that's it.
Great, thank you. The fourth and final question, unless we have time at the end to add in some alternative questions, I'm going to start with you, Michael. Will you prioritize funding to implement the climate mitigation plan?
Yes, I mean, we only have one home, one environment. There's the reason why Chehalis and the Nisqually tribes support me. Thurston County environmental voters, Sierra Club. Those are just many examples of my proven track record of protecting the environment and our habitat, inhabitants, animals and people alike, and being a champion of a good water quality and stellar infrastructure that provides water, treatment services, all that to the public. It's not talk, and too many times today in government, always see is people get on their soapbox and promise all the good things they're going to do by the environment and by the residents that they serve, and then they fall flat and don't deliver. I have a proven track record of providing and doing what I say I'm going to do, and that's number one is take care of the infrastructure and the environment. That's key to the environment. So that's it.
Thank you. Now, Gary, would you please respond to the fourth question?
Within the last month, we voted as Board of County Commissioners to contribute to the climate mitigation program and assist with that. So I don't know what else you want for an answer. All three of us voted in favor of it.
Great, thank you. All right, you now have the opportunity, and I'll go ahead and start with you, Gary. You have the opportunity to ask the other candidate, or Michael in this case, if you have 1 minute to respond, Michael, to the question that Gary proposes.
Mike, I hope you're having fun in this campaign. And if I I should get beat by a outstanding gentleman like yourself, then the citizens will have spoke, and I will accept that as the change that we go through. And I'd like to point out that when either candidate wins or loses, we end up in a situation where we have a transfer of power in this country that I think is second to none around the world. And so, Mike, good luck to you. I'm not going to quiz you on anything because I just think you're a good person, and look forward to working with you, win or lose.
I appreciate that, Gary. You know, I don't really have a question. I just have what I know, and that's a proven track record. Gary's a great guy. He thinks what he's doing is best for the county and its residents. And I obviously think that what I bring to the table is better. It's nothing good or bad, you know, towards either one of us. We are good, decent people. But I don't just promise, I deliver. And I work hard. I listen to all walks of life, and then I get all the different ideas, and it's like a puzzle piece. Everybody brings a different angle or a different idea to this problem, and then I form it into a solution. But most of all, it's I get it done. And we have too much of not getting it done in government. And other than that, the financial aspect of my tenure as city council member speaks for itself. And I just ask for the people's vote. That's it.
Okay, and at the end, we're going to get to some closing statements. If you don't have any questions for one another, which is great, we do have time for the alternative questions. So I believe I left off with Michael beginning, and so I think I'll go to Gary. Is that correct? I want to make sure. All right, so the alternative question, number one, for Gary, the county budget currently does not include certain revenues that are available to support needed services. Which added revenues would you support?
I think I would support a law enforcement bond issue. That would require a coordinated effort between all of the law and justice players. And the current expense budget, about 1/3 of the county budget, is about 70% law and justice. That's the sheriff and the courts and the coroner and the clerk, everyone that has to do with the law and justice component. If we could get that group together and agree on how to proceed and how the funding would be dispersed without siphoning that funding off to do other things, nothing to do with law enforcement, dedicate it to the law and justice community, not just the police on the street, the jail, the courts, the different specialty courts that we offer. Everybody would have to be a player because one doesn't work without the other. So I would take a look at seeing what the public would have to say once we explained to them what they were going to get. So that's probably the way I would look at it right off the bat. There are a lot of different tax sources and stuff out there, and we could go on for quite some time. But I guess you asked for one special thing. That's what I'd do.
Thank you, Gary. Michael?
Right. Well, I think regardless of any new revenues or any new monies, it's the management aspect of those monies. And currently, we're asking other departments to do more with less than other departments. And I think it's really a priority of managing all the departments and all the offices fairly and equally, and let them, control their end. But you have to control your end. And if you're exempting certain departments and then asking others for more, then it's a management thing. So it just needed to do better managing with regardless of the revenues that are in question.
Great, thank you. Michael, the next question, I'm going to begin with you. Do you think it's important to work closely with the incorporated cities in Thurston County? And if so, why?
It's paramount to work closely with the local jurisdictions. And I mean, I know by experience with Lacey and getting things done with the Nisqually Tribe or the North Thurston Public Schools or JBLM, the Chamber of Commerce, all those. I belong on committees or boards and commissions with them, and we work flawlessly together. But it's far too many times that the county isn't meeting those expectations of partnerships and that the other areas are, like JBLM and the North Thurston Public Schools and the Chamber. They need to be a better partner. They need to come to the table more. We all have to get on board and use a regional approach to these big issues that is far too big for any one of us alone to handle. If we do that, then we can, raise the tide, and then all the ships float in the harbor.
Thank you. I believe, Gary, if you can take that question now.
Okay, I think it's very important to work with all your jurisdictions, not just your municipalities, but the port and the fire department and schools, the whole thing. It's a package deal, if you will. I can say that we are currently joining our homeless revenues together with all the jurisdictions to deal with that subject right now. I can tell you, in my 20 years as the elected sheriff here in Thurston County, right off the bat, I put together joint teams, joint search and rescue, joint dive rescue, joint SWAT teams. So I'll just let it go at that. I've got a history of doing that, and I think it's a very important part of government to work together.
Thank you very much. All right, Gary, I'm going to begin this one with you and close out with Michael, and then we'll have closing statements. All right. What proposals do you have for economic development and expansion of living wage jobs in the county?
Well, my goal would be to create good jobs rather than minimum wage jobs, because you can probably have 2 or 3 minimum wage jobs and just barely make it, but you wouldn't have time to do anything else. So with good living wage jobs, encourage research and development, for an example, to come here, because we want to be concerned about the environment at the same time that we're creating good jobs. The trades that we work with on a regular basis, I think that the more that we can build, for an example, on affordable housing. The reason we don't have affordable housing is we don't have adequate housing. If we have enough housing, then the price won't be driven up so bad. So it's all a package deal on how we can put things together, make sure that we have affordable living wage jobs. And a big piece of it would be encouraging R&D, just as an example, research and development.
Thank you very much, Gary. Michael?
Can you repeat the question again?
My pleasure. What proposals do you have for economic development and expansion of living wage jobs in the county?
Okay. Well, innovation and infrastructure and inclusion are everything behind my campaign. If we have the proper infrastructure, we'll attract the proper institutions to educate our workforce, as well as attract the businesses that bring the good quality family wage jobs and benefits. And again, the partnership comes in, is one of my great strengths. And schools like St. Martin's and South Puget Sound Community College, they're doing that already, but along with the building trades. I'm a sheet metal worker for last 30 years, building America. Teach people good skills and they will find good jobs, and that's how it works. It's just teach them good skills and give them an education.
Thank you, Michael. All right, Michael, we'll begin with you, but each candidate will now have 1 minute to provide a 1-minute closing statement.
1 minute, all right. It's contrast, Mike and Gary, okay, or county and so in Lacey we have a AAA plus credit rating. We paid off most of our debt early, savings to residents. The county's got a high debt ceiling. It's almost maxed out. Its credit rating isn't near what Lacey's is. We've already brought ADUs. We brought the Lacey Veteran Service Hub. We've given sales tax and B&O exemptions to attract more affordable housing units. Form-based code, transportation and infrastructure projects like Exit 111, the Super T, College 22nd, Mullen, and Marvin Road improvements, and dozens of waste and stormwater projects. I mean, it's so much positive that I can bring to the county instead of the same old, same old. You know, what I've done in 7 years and what the county's done in the last 7 years should speak for itself. And if you agree, then your vote would be for Mike Steadman. And that I ask everybody to vote for Michael Steadman November 3rd so we can turn Thurston County around.
Thank you, Michael. Gary?
My family has been here for 7 generations now. My wife and I have been married for over 50 years. We've got kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. And I have every reason in the world to do the best job that I can, because I believe in the future of Thurston County. And I want to do the absolute best that I can so that my kids and your kids and family can live and work in Thurston County and be the best place in the state of Washington to live and work. And that's my goal. So thank you very much. If you want to know more about Gary Edwards, you could go to votegaryedwards.com, take a look at my background and such, but look forward to the upcoming election, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary Edwards and Michael Steadman, for participating in this forum. We thank Thurston County Media for producing the forum and the Asian Pacific Islanders Coalition for its contributions. The forum will be available on the TCM channels, on League website, and as a YouTube video shortly after the forums are concluded. We're glad you have taken the opportunity to view this forum. We remind you to vote in the general election beginning October 16th, 2020, and closing on November 3rd, 2020. Have a great day.